Good evening everyone, myself Manjushri MH. Today we are going to study about the topic transportation in plants. Before we going to study about the transportation in plant, first I will give one definition about translocation. This translocation definition is very important for this topic transportation in plant. What is translocation? Translocation means transport of substances in plant over the longer distance through the vascular tissues like xylem and phloem is called as translocation. The xylem and phloems are very essential for plant growth. Why? The xylem is a water conducting tissue, phloem is a food conducting tissue. These two tissues are very important for plant growth. Next, we shall move on to the definition of transportation. What is transportation? Transportation is the process that involves the movement of water and necessary nutrients to all parts of the plant for its survival. Transportation is a vital process in plants. Trees transport nutrients and water it needs for survival from its roots to the tip of the leaves. The tree absorbs water, minerals, nutrients from the soil with the help of the root and supplies the entire part of the plant body. Next, we shall move on to the plants contain a vast network that conduits which consisting of xylem and phloem. This is more like a circulatory system that transport blood throughout the human body. Similar to that circulatory system in humans, the xylem and phloem tissue extends throughout the plant. These conducting tissue originate from the root and move up through the trunks of the trees. Next, this is the image of xylem and phloem tissues. The water and minerals are transported in plants by two types of conducting tissue. I already told xylem and phloem. First, we shall discuss about the xylem. Xylem is long. It is a non-living tube. It is running from the root to the leaves through the stem. The xylem is very long and the tube running from roots to the leaves through the stem. The water is absorbed by root hair and it undergoes cell to cell movement by the process we call it as osmosis. What is osmosis? The movement of water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration across a semi-permeable membrane such as plasma membrane. In this, until it reaches the xylem, this water is then transported through the xylem vessel to the leaves and is evaporated by the process we call it as transpiration. What is transpiration? The loss of water in the form of vapor through the aerial parts of the plant body, we call it as transpiration. The xylem is also composed of elongated cells like phloem. In phloem also the cells are elongated in shape. Xylem is also composed of elongated cells. However, xylem is especially accountable for transporting water to all parts from the root. Since they serve such an important function, a single tree would have lot of xylem tissues. This is about the xylem. Next, we shall move on to the phloem. The phloem is responsible for translocation of nutrients and sugar like carbohydrates it produced by the leaves to area of the plant that are metabolically active. Leaves synthesize the food with the help of sunlight and water. It is made up of living cells. Xylem is made up of non-living cells. Phloem is made up of living cells. These cell walls of these cells from small holes at the end of the cells known as a sieve plates. This is about xylem and phloem. Next, we shall move on to the means of transportation in plants. Transportation in plants by three means. They are as started below. First one is diffusion, second one is facilitated diffusion, third one is a active transport. First one, diffusion. What is diffusion? In this also The substances move from higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. The diffusion is the only means of transport of gases in case of plants. In this, the rate of diffusion depends on temperature, pressure, and mainly on a gradient of concentration. Next, we shall move on to the facilitated diffusion. In this facilitated diffusion, the gradient is a vital component for the process of diffusion. Hence, smaller substances has to be diffused faster when compared to the larger ones. Facilitated diffusion is a passive process that comprises antipode, unipode, and sympode. In antipode, protein exchanges the solutes by transporting them in and out of the cell. The main function of unipode protein is to carry a single solute across the membrane. Sympode protein transport two different solutes simultaneously in the same direction. Next, we shall move on to the active transport. In active transport, it pumps a molecule against the concentration gradients. Here, the energy of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate is used to drive the pump. The ATP donates a phosphate to a particular gateway molecule which then pumps the desired molecule across the membrane. These three means the transportation occur. First one is a diffusion, second one is a facilitated diffusion, and third one is a active transport. Next, we shall move on to the osmosis. Already I told the definition of osmosis. It means the movement of water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration across a membrane. We call it as semi-permeable membrane. Water will move from the region of higher chemical potential to the lower region of chemical potential until the equilibrium is reached. First, we shall discuss about the Thistle funnel experiment. Thistle funnel is made one experiment. A Thistle funnel filled with the sucrose solution are kept inverted in a beaker containing water. These two are diagrams to show the Thistle funnel experiment. In A, water will diffuses across the membrane to raise the level of solution in the funnel. Pressure can be applied as shown to stop the water movement into the funnel. This is about the osmosis experiment. Thank you.